Stand back! There's a yellow magic coming through. Hi and welcome to another one of my Let's Plays. This is a bit of a different game, I think. This time around it is called Tales from the Reaper by user Bowman Briefs on RPGmaker.net. There isn't a huge amount on the game's description, on the game page for this game about the description, so I don't have a huge amount to go on. All I can really say is that it has something to do with beings called Reapers who are supposed to come down and assist solving human problems whenever there are problems to be had. At least that's the general gist I got from the game description. As a result, since I don't know that much about the game, I'm just gonna carry on.
Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side.
Well, that's one way to begin an RPG Maker game. That's another way to begin an RPG Maker game. Okay, we have to decide the name of a character I haven't even met yet. Go with standard. Okay, I mean, at least I know what they look like, so there's that. I don't know if there was some sort of breaking the fourth wall element to it. It was a bit confusing, to be honest, that whole movie. Glorious MIDI soundtrack, by the way. What would happen if I selected no way here? There's only one way to find out. Hey. Is that a game over? Is that actually a game over? What? This is very postmodern. I think I've just been placed on a random map for saying no way. And as a result, I can't actually do anything. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. I don't know what to make of that. I guess it's kind of funny. Unfortunately, I'd have to go through the same video again. I'm probably going to include a way to skip this next showing of this video, actually. But at the moment it's a bit too small to go through the whole thing. I guess one thing I could say, just mention something else I discovered about this game. As I was installing it and starting it up, I noticed that it came up with the DynRPG logo. So for those of you who don't know, DynRPG is basically, how do you even describe it? Kind of a mod for RPG Maker 2003, I believe, by a user called Cherry on RPGmaker.net forums, who wanted to allow people to add extra functionality to the RPG Maker 2003 games. It's pretty interesting because it involves the use of a lot of plugins in the form of C++ scripts, which is quite an interesting. Well, it probably isn't a choice. I'm sure there's some sort of technical reason behind having to use C++, but I can imagine that a lot of RPG Maker developers with their Ruby backgrounds because of RPG Maker XP, VX, and VX Ace. I'm not sure how well they would be able to tackle C++. So it's quite interesting, but really there have been a few plugins made, so I'm assuming that people haven't had that huge amount of difficulty getting into C++. Interesting to me because I don't know, I can never really get into it. I can see the uses of it. For example, if you want to go into like proper commercial games development, C++ is basically a prerequisite. It is something that you more or less have to know if you want to make it anywhere in the games industry. So that is something to keep in mind for anyone who wants to go into the industry proper. You know, just a bit of casual advice there from a guy who's not even actually in the games industry, but whatever. Anyway, we're back to the position where we began, thankfully. Oh my god, are these, how do you pronounce it? Rudora no Hiho? Rudora, fuck me, I really need to go back to Japanese classes. Rudo's treasure character, tile sets. It's also raining. And the raining just stopped. That was very quick rain. That reminds me of the type of rain you get in the Indian subcontinent, you know, monsoon season. Anyway. Okay, so those are the two Raper type things that we named earlier. I don't know why I didn't get to name this one. Rene. Oh wait, no, I did. Now that's Rudo's treasure combined with RTP. Quite a few graves there. Is she moonwalking? That is some heavy-duty blinking there. Oh, I think I'm able to move. Yes, I am. I'm just a very tall person called Rinny. And I could save anywhere. Yes! Thank you so much. What are you, John Cena? Hey! Sorry, I just had to make a wrestling joke there, I don't know. The plague. I've always wondered why it's not pronounced plague. It just looks like that kind of word, you know? Doesn't really seem like I can do much of anything. I hope I'm actually able to interact with characters. But apparently I'm looking for the Reaper nature and I'm being forbidden from moving to a certain location. Which kind of gives me the feeling that this is going to be a fairly linear game. Yes, I know that, you just said that. Yes, you did mention. Word on the street is that you need to find a Reaper nature. No, that works fine. But as a Reaper, surely you should be able to go through stuff like that. I mean, you just entered the house of a dying girl. I'm pretty sure you weren't really supposed to be there. And if other people can't see you, I'll assume you have some sort of property whereby you can pass through doors and stuff. I don't understand why I'm knocking on the door as well. There doesn't really seem to be much going on right now, and doesn't seem to be a huge amount to interact with, so at the moment I'm just going to say that... Okay, yeah, I did get the picture. Yeah, where was I? I was just going to say, if you have any comment or critique about this Let's Play, you know where to find me. There's all the usual channels. For example, there's the IRC channel for RPGmaker.net, hashtag RPGmaker.net on irc.sign, okay, irc.sign, Hold on, I'll just hold off in a bit because something seems to be happening. I'm tempted to go alone. I don't like you people already. Oh, fine then. Shall I play the demo battle? I think I might as well. I was very worried there. Okay, that is quite trippy. Everyone's making very suggestive hand motions, but we'll just ignore that for the time being. Ooh, turn-based, this should be interesting. Now, from a tactical standpoint, this should be interesting because it would be using the aforementioned DynoRPG plugins. I'm assuming one of them allows for turn-based battle systems. Cool. RPGmaker.net usually does not have turn-based battle systems, that's why this is kind of a big deal. So this is very interesting to me. That is quite a lot of sweat. Right, okay, this should be very interesting. This doesn't feel very turn-based though. I was just attacked very quickly. Tell you what, I'm just going to wait for about 5 seconds to see if it's actually turn-based. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yep. They just attacked first, which is a bit confusing. Right. Oh, that is quite a lot of spells to begin with. In the way, beginning of the game. Wow. Pretty standard types of skills here. Let's see, we have some that can restore, some that can revive, something that can remove status effects, something that deals holy damage to one foe, something that deals dark damage to one foe, and allows you to fly swim. I'm assuming that's not going to be a huge amount of help in the middle of a battle, in which case I would prefer that would be made a bit more clear. On the subject of making things a bit more clear, yikes. I'm not a huge fan of the text, simply because I think the options are a bit hard to read. So if that could be, going forwards, changed to a bit more of a white colour, I think that'd probably work a bit better. Because at the moment I'm having a bit of difficulty actually seeing what I'm reading, if that makes sense. I do like the cursor though, that does make things a bit clearer. That doesn't really tell me a huge amount about the skill itself. I mean, I've seen this couple of things in quite a few other RPG Maker games. I think crazed games of old actually had these kind of skill descriptions, and while I could see that you would want to add a little more personality to the game, I think it's very important that you give the user enough information such that they can execute a battle fairly efficiently and to the best of their ability, right? Because we just present something that says that takes up 32 SP or MP or whatever it is in this game, and call it something random. It doesn't really tell me, the player, a huge amount of how to go forward in the battle. So end of the day, I could be wasting huge amount of MP, and then it absolutely does nothing for that point in the battle. I mean, if you want to turn it into very extreme, that could lead to me losing the battle as well, so, I mean... just something to keep in mind, I think. Looks like straight up attacking is doing a lot of damage, and another thing is... okay, this is a demo battle, so I'm going to cut a bit of slack. I'm not going to go on about battle balance until I go into proper battling. I'm assuming that was meant to be that super easy. Thanks, but I don't think I actually needed it, did I? Oh, now I do. Oh. It's okay, I'll get through this. I'm not sure how I ended up here though. I'm guessing like the camera viewpoint has kind of changed. Yep. I can skip the demo battle. Nice mac and blue tiles there. I think they're mac and blue, from what I can remember. Okay, that's a very trippy RPG, RTP-ish music. I don't think it's actually from the RTP, just that this game utilizes a lot of MIDIs, which is interesting in this day and age. You don't see it very often. Where am I going? I'll just go into battle. Now I can start to talk about battle balance, which is something that I do love talking about. That's some very relaxing music for a battle. I'm not one to judge because if anyone's seen one of my previous projects called Iris, I go for a very different take on RPG music. It basically utilizes a sort of instrumental hip-hop soundtrack, and that includes the battles, so I am not really one to judge on that front. It is quite a change in this game though. I mean, it's not really something I expected, especially because I'm playing as Reapers, if you will. Are they pretending that they're playing a guitar, or that they're cleaning up? One or the other. Anyway, that was a fairly easy battle, and I think I was more or less just smashing attack through that. I want to see how much, how long I can get away with that. Okay, one thing that I think should be pointed out is probably a technical thing, but I do notice that there's a sizable pause when I begin a battle before I can actually do anything, because the enemy has to move first. I'm assuming this is a technical issue to do with the Dyn RPG script. I'm assuming that one way that can be fixed is by increasing the agility of the player of the enemies to like 999 so that they act immediately. I'm not sure whether that would screw up what the agility parameter is actually currently used for. If it is actually being used for, that's what it more or less depends on. Anyway, I just mashed attack through that again. This is a metric of mine that I like to call... How did I end up here again? That was very strange. Anyway, it means I could save, which is always good, because I love saving. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, I utilize a little something called an attack metric, which basically measures the amount of times that I can go through battles by just pressing attack. Usually I'm fine if it's like, the value is 5. You know, if I go through 5 battles by just pressing attack. Okay, that's very strange. Where am I going? No. Am I missing something here? Oh, this is one of those puzzle type things, right? Like, for example, it's a pattern used in a lot of games, but I think the most relevant one to this one, because it is a force, would be... Holy crap. The Way episode, I think it was 5 or 6, which had like more or less a static map with a certain pattern to it in various forms, and you had to basically follow the pattern to actually get yourself out of what seemed to be some sort of weird ass maze, if you will. So I think this is probably doing the same type of thing. Having said that, I don't really see any sort of pattern yet. Maybe I just followed the monsters. And we wait. And then we play the guitar. Because that's how we roll in Reaperland. No, that was not the way. No, that's not the way either. Ah! Maybe there's another exit. There is not. At this point, I've kind of forgotten what I had to do here. I had to meet the Reaper of Nature, I think. Well, the Reaper of Nature certainly hasn't made it easy, eh? So I can't keep going straight. I'm probably gonna try right. Okay. And up again. Is there a pattern to this? I'm trying to think of one. Nope. No. Ah, fuck's sake. Okay. I'm gonna try and calm down. I'm gonna give this about 2 or 3 more minutes before I just stop for today at least. I do apologize to everyone viewing this. I'm going to try and make these Let's Plays as interesting as I can as I play, because I think one of the worst things I've seen in Let's Plays of any kind of game really is just dead silence at certain points of the game, and I have seen it in quite a few Let's Plays. I have also seen how some Let's Players also tend to voice the dialogue, so when there's a certain cutscene or something, there's a tendency for the Let's Player to actually read out every line of dialogue and try to give it some sort of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Try to give it a sense of, oh Christ, there's a really good word I'm trying to think about now, but I just cannot remember for the life of me. Uniqueness? Anyway, I have no idea what I just did. Oh, that was pretty neat. I have no idea how that happened, but it was pretty neat. I guess after a while, if you just press attack, you do end up getting somewhere. I might actually stop pressing attack that much, even though I know I can comfortably get through this portion of the game just by using attack. Maybe I have to do something with this, like catch all the spider webs or something. Or they're just a means of slowing me down while the monsters get to me. The thing with that is the monsters aren't actually moving that fast, so there isn't a huge amount to that one little puzzly aspect of it. I think I go right. What do you think? Yes? No? Maybe left. I think I'll just keep going left and see what happens. In other words, go west. Hey! No, that isn't getting me anywhere. Ah! One more time, and then I'm calling it quits, dude. One more time. Okay, that was a bad one because I knew that I was gonna get messed up anyway. If there is a pattern here, I mean, I'll just ask for mod and I'll probably get through it at some point. I don't think it's a bug. I think it's just me being dumb. Keep going right. No. One more time. Oh my god, it's kind of addicting. In a really masochistic type of way. Okay. You can do this, Sonny. Believe in me who believes in you. No. Okay, that's it. Right, here are my first thoughts on Tales from the Reaper by Bowman Briefs. First I'll start off with the good. I think the dialogue has been fairly competently written. It hasn't really gone a huge amount in terms of storytelling. That's kind of fair enough, but at least I was given a brief introduction as to the type of, I don't know, world I'm currently in, as well as the type of world that the Reapers come from. I have a clear idea of where I need to go in terms of next objectives. I have to go meet the Reaper of Nature. At least I hope I'm right, otherwise I can't give I can't call that a proper point. A plus point, I mean. What else can I say that's good about the game so far? I guess I like the music in places. I like the title screen music a lot, and I like this little MIDI theme playing right now. I think it's pretty good, and I hope it's an original piece. But I don't immediately recognize it, so I'm assuming that it's at least not a very well-known piece, so that's good as well. I like that it uses something that is different from RPG Maker 2003's standard battle system, using the DynaRPG plugin for turn-based battle systems, which is nice to see in terms of like just a change. So it's not only side view, it's side view turn-based. This is something you don't normally see in RPG Maker 2003, so plus points for that. Okay, now for the not so great stuff. Okay, first of all, the overall presentation of the game has been a bit spotty at places. I do like the fact that it used an opening video. I actually do appreciate that. It was a very neat little change from the standard fade in 3 seconds after you press the start game button. I thought that was pretty good. Beyond that though, it just seemed a bit weird because I was immediately thrust into, okay, so here are a couple of characters, just freaking name them. This is more of a kind of an old school kind of technique to naming characters, which I'm not great about. I prefer it if it was something along the lines of Final Fantasy VI, where it kind of give it a very brief understanding of what the character is going to go through, and then you can give them a name accordingly. I think that's a pretty neat mechanic to have. So if this game could have something like that as well, I think that'd be pretty good. Next, the mapping unfortunately has been a bit not too great. Okay, give it plus points at least, I guess, just for not using the R2P, but honestly, I'd prefer R2P that was used fairly well as opposed to any other tile sets that aren't being used very well. That's just my opinion, and unfortunately, I think there's a lot of work to be done in these maps so far, especially the town and the forest. I think that's something to keep in mind for Bulma Briefs. Finally, about the battle system, I do appreciate that it is doing something a bit different. However, at the same time, it is a bit too easy so far. I mentioned before my little attack metric, where when I count the number of times I can get through a battle just by pressing the attack button. It's pretty high right now. I think it's around 10 to 15 at this point. So, unfortunately, I think there might be a bit of work to do going forwards in terms of actual battle balance, because I mean, look, right, I am presented with a huge amount of skills right now, and I do want to use these. They don't seem amazingly interesting right now, I do have to say, but they, at the very least, you know, they're there, and I do want to use them, but I don't really have an incentive to use them. To add to the idea of incentive, this is compounded by the fact that some of the descriptions are not great. Like, I'm not really sure what's meant by fly/swim at this point. I'm not sure what's meant by exercise spirits at this point either. What are the spirits that I have to exercise? Sealed until later. I mean, okay, it's there, but why is it even there in the first place? The skill, right? There was another good example. Sunrise, bring a bright sun, 32 MP right off the bat, and I have no idea what it even does. So these are all things that I think should be kept in mind in the battle system. Just to summarize, number one, I think it's too easy for now, even if it is the beginning stages of the game. I'm just pressing attack, and the enemies aren't dealing a huge amount of damage to me. I don't believe I've even healed a single time yet. Number two, the skill descriptions could use some work as well. So, I hope this is useful to you, Bulma Briefs. Please don't hate me. I mean, well, you're allowed to hate me actually, what do I care? But this is my kind of honest critique at this point, and I would like to see a lot of these things fixed in the next, I don't know, coming weeks, or however long it takes for you to actually get around to fixing them. Until then, I may or may not decide to continue on this game. I think the one thing that I do want to ask for now, Bulma Briefs, is how do I get through this maze? Please, if you're watching this, let me know as soon as you can. Then hopefully I should get around to at least a second video in the next, I don't know, week or so. Until then, thanks for watching guys, this is Yellow Magic signing off. See ya.